that COVID was a very tough period, especially the early months, because the Jamaat had this routine. Everybody would come to offer prayers behind Huzur, spend time with Huzur, have mulaqats with Huzur. There was an increasing trend of people, Jamaats, sending delegations from different countries to meet Huzur, and then suddenly everything stopped. And obviously you all know that even khutbah, there was nobody in the mosque hardly apart from the one or two people. And the virtual mulaqats, the Huzur's family mulaqats, daftari mulaqats, they all stopped for a period. And so it was a period of very intense sadness, uncertainty, anxiousness. And then after a few days, then Huzur started having his daftari mulaqats on the phone. And he would call, basically people would make the request in the same way, and that then Huzur would call them when at certain slots in the same way. So that side of it was continuing, but there was definitely a void, an absence in terms of the general MDs in other countries especially, who weren't able to come and see Huzur. So I can't recall at the time, but I think it was Munir Odisab, but it may have been somebody else. But then I think in one of his mulaqats, he mentioned to Huzur that there's this possibility of doing virtual. I think, if I remember correctly, he told me that there was a short period or some period where Huzur didn't give an answer, but then after a few more weeks had passed, then Huzur asked further details. And then Huzur instructed that let's go ahead and test it. And then the mulaqat that you mentioned with the Atfal from Canada was arranged. And I remember being in the room for that mulaqat. And even before the mulaqats happened, I was talking to Munir Odisab, and we were talking amongst ourselves that this is a once-in-a-lifetime type opportunity. If it goes well, this could be a trend for the next 50 years, 100 years, that Jamaats will have this opportunity. But if it goes badly, or there's like the network flops, Huzur's probably going to say, "Okay, isko chhod do, it's just wasting my time." So we were really tense and nervous and anxious. And then until the moment, like Huzur said, "Chalo on kar do." And then that moment, it was just so special that as soon as the mulaqat started, you could see the happiness in Huzur's face that after a long time, he was seeing someone new and some new children at Atfal, because Huzur had been in Islamabad, and the happiness on Huzur's face and the happiness and it just worked seamlessly that day. And I think that was Allah Ta'ala's special help. Some days afterwards, subsequently, there have been times when the connection is broke for a few minutes or there's been some issues, but that day it worked perfectly. And the mulaqat was interesting, and Huzur at the end of it, like throughout it, he was smiling. And then at the end of it, Huzur smiled, and then he just looked at me at the end, and he said, "Kaisa hua?" Like, how did I say, Huzur? It was beautiful, wonderful, and you could tell that Huzur was happy. And then that's when more mulaqats were quickly arranged, especially during that period where the lockdowns were still imposed. Then it was, mashallah, such a huge blessing. And now they still go on, but now, of course, now we have both sides of the blessing, that now I think your Amla is visiting as well, and other Amlas have met Huzur, and people are coming. But at the same time, the virtual mulaqats are also continuing alongside it for those places where Huzur can't visit or their people can't come. So yeah, I think that was, again, I don't think without COVID that would have happened, certainly not in this period. So everything has a purpose and some blessings, and maybe that was one of the things that to be able to spread the message of Khilafat to an even wider degree, we had to experience that.